Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Welcome to Sports Performance and Mindset Reset. Today is our push day, so we're going to be doing lots of squats and presses, some rotational work, and a little bit of side-to-side movement. So we're hitting all of that today. We're going to do 45 seconds of work, 15 seconds of rest / transition time. So rebounds through, and I'm going to go ahead and get started with the demos here. So we do need one set of dumbbells for sure. I do always recommend two, but especially for this one, I definitely want us to go heavy for our push presses today. So if you have two, great. If not, no problem. One works just fine. So we're gonna go ahead and get started with our with the demos here. So I'm gonna start off showing y'all what we're gonna be doing today. So we're gonna start off with the rotational squat to press here. So we're gonna have our dumbbell in one hand. We're gonna squat down as normal, and then as you push up, we're gonna rotate our hips towards the opposite direction of the, how do I word this right now? It's early. When we rotate, so whatever hip is pointing that direction or moving that direction, we want to press in that way. So right now the dumbbell's in my right hand, my right hip is pushing towards the left as we come up. So coming down, pressing through the whole foot, turning our hips. We pretend like we have headlights on our hips. We want to blind that direction. So we'll do 45 seconds on one side, and then we'll move to the other side. So squatting down, and again, pressing up, rotating the left hip, pushing towards the right as we press up with the left hand. So those are our first two movements. And then we're going to do a lateral squat here. So we can keep our dumbbell. We're going to stand nice and wide. We're going to hold that dumbbell underneath the chin, and then we're going to push the hips all the way to one side, push the ground away, and then the opposite side and pushing the ground away. So we really want to feel that in the glutes. So pushing through the heels, also going to feel it in the quads a little bit, making sure our knees coming forward and our hips are going back at the same time. So that's going to be our third movement, particularly the second. And then this is where if we do have a heavier set of dumbbells, I would like us to grab it for this one. You can also hold it for the lateral squats as well, but we're going to do some push presses. So this is very similar to an overhead press, but we're going to use the legs a little bit more. So I like to do just a little squat down, so just a baby squat, and then pushing through the feet to help those arms. So pressing up, same as a regular overhead press, so elbow slightly in front, dumbbell starting just above those shoulders, and then coming straight up, and then bend those knees as we come down. So that's going to be our fourth movement. And then finally, we're going to end with some dead bugs here. And we're going to do a core assist. So the core assist, what that, I can't talk this morning. All that means is we're going to hold the weight above our hands here. So we're going to be on our back, knees above the hips, hands above the shoulders, press the belly button into the ground. So holding the dumbbells here is going to help us engage the core a little bit more. And then one leg at a time, we're going to extend out, exhale back in, and then the opposite leg, extend out, exhale back in. So really want to focus on using that core to pull the legs back in, not using the legs to pull the core back in. So that is the whole circuit for today. So we're going to do that 3 times through. So we're going to go ahead and get started with our warm up. I'm just going to move the camera a little bit because I felt like my hands were being cut off. All right. So we're going to start in the top of our space. We're going to do the world's greatest stretch to start off. So we're going to be at the top of our space. We're going to interlace our fingers, grab onto the right knee, pull the right knee towards the chest. Nice big deep breath. And we're going to exhale, step back into a reverse lunge. We're going to keep that back leg nice and straight. Hands are going to come on the inside of our front foot. So left pinky is right next to our left toes. Nice big deep breath. And we're going to exhale, opening up that left hand towards the ceiling, gazing past our thumb. So this is going to open up our hips. But we're also opening up our back, getting ready for our rotational squat to press. And on the next exhale, we're going to plant our hand outside of our front foot, push our hips up into a hamstring stretch. Breathe into that tightness. And we can go ahead and exhale and bring our feet together, push the ground away and stand on up. And we're gonna go ahead and do that same thing on the other side. So interlace those fingers, grab onto the left knee, pull the left knee towards the chest. Nice big deep breath. And we're gonna exhale, step back, reverse lunge. Keep that back leg nice and straight, hands coming down to the inside of the front foot. This part's really the great part that opens up our hips. We're gonna take a big deep belly breath. And we're gonna exhale, opening up the right hand towards the ceiling, gazing past our thumb. Want to get that rotation through the neck and the spine. Like I said, though, this is gonna warm us up for our rotational squat to press. And we can go ahead and exhale and plant the hand outside of our front foot. Push our hips up into that hamstring stretch. Breathing into those tight areas. And we're gonna go ahead and exhale, bring our feet together, push the ground away, and stand on up. Awesome. All right, last part of our warm-up here, we're gonna make our way on the ground. We're gonna do a little hip flexor to hamstring stretch. So we're gonna tuck our pelvis, we're gonna squeeze the glute, we're gonna push those hips forward. We're gonna take a nice big deep belly breath. And we're gonna exhale, rock our hips back, chest towards the knee, toes towards the ceiling. Nice big deep breath. And we're gonna exhale, coming back to our hip flexor stretch. So we're gonna do this one more time on this side. So squeeze that glute, push those hips forward. Really getting that nice stretch through the front of the hip. Nice deep breath. And we're exhaling, rocking back, bringing that chest towards the knee, toes to the ceiling. Getting that nice stretch through the back of the leg. And we're gonna exhale and come out of that. And then we'll go ahead and switch sides. So switching knee and foot. We're gonna go ahead and do that same checklist. So we're gonna bring our butt to our belly button, squeeze the glute and push the hips forward, opening up the front of the hip. And deep belly breath. And we're gonna exhale, rock our hips back, toes to the ceiling, chest towards the knee. Nice big deep breath. And we're gonna exhale back to hip flexor. So same checklist. Really keep that glute squeeze. That glute squeeze is gonna help us release the front of the hip. So really important there. And exhaling, rocking back into our hamstring stretch. And we're gonna do one more deep breath. And we can go ahead and exhale and come out of that. And then we can make our way back to our feet, grabbing one dumbbell. We're getting ready. We got rotational squat to press, starting with that, 45 seconds of work. Getting the timer going here in 3, 2, 1, and go. So we got rotational squat to press. So we're starting with one dumbbell here, hand above the shoulder, feet hip width apart, toes pointed forward. We're squatting down, pushing the ground away with that whole foot, really rotating. So we're driving that hip. So my dumbbell is in the right hand. So my right hip is really doing the work. So I like to compare this really to like a golf swing or a softball swing where you're driving that hip first. So this is kind of the reasoning behind having this movement in here. So this is definitely something that I have my softball girls do. 3, 2, 1. Of course, switching to the other side for me, at least, is going to feel different because I am right-handed. So this was my swing. This was not. 3, 2, 1. So same thing in the other direction. So knees still going over our second toe. So we want the inside part of the knee to be lined up with that second toe, keeping that chest up and open, pushing through the ground, heel big toe, little toe. So when we drive through the heel, so even if you're just standing here, pushing that heel into the ground is going to activate those glutes. We also, again, headlights on our hips, blinding that wall. We also want to keep that core nice and tight. So when we're thinking about core engagement, we want to bring each side of our six pack together like we're zipping it up. And that's going to help us keep our back nice and flat. 3, 2, 1. All right. Next up, we have lateral goblet squats. So for this one, you can keep that dumbbell. You can grab your heavier dumbbell, whatever is available to you, whatever you have. 3, 2, 1. I would recommend grabbing that heavier dumbbell because with our lower body movements, we have a lot of bigger muscle groups in our legs and our arms. So our legs can generally, not everyone, but generally our legs can lift more than our arms. So when we're just doing lower body movements, grabbing a heavier set of dumbbells is always recommended. But making sure here we are pushing the hips back at the same time that knee is coming forward. So I see it a lot that the knee is coming forward here, and that's going to put extra stress on the knees. 3, 2, 1. All right, we're going to grab both of our heavier dumbbells. We're getting ready for push presses. 3, 2, 1. So same starting position, hands just above those shoulders. Elbows are staying just slightly below the shoulders. We don't want them to dip down all the way. Keeping our back flat by using the core. And like I said, just a slight bend in those knees. Great job. I probably should not have done quads and delts before this. Might have to drop down to the lighter weight after, but use those legs and our arms. 3, 2, 1. Okay, laying down on the ground, goblet squats. Oh my goodness, dead bugs. These are dead bugs. We're doing this, and we got 2 more rounds to go. 3, 2, 1. So keeping those hands above those shoulders, knees above the hips. Push that belly button into the ground, pulling in with the core. So I want us to all imagine that we have a zipper going down the middle of our torso. We're zipping that up with the core, and there's a string tied to the end. That is what's pulling our leg back in. If we're feeling it in our hips, that means we need to really pull with the core. So if you're having trouble finding that, just hold this position here. 3, 2, 1. When you hold that position, it does help train our mind to core connection to really bring it together. So I want us to imagine us pushing it down, not necessarily just sucking it. All right, rotational squats to press. 3, 2, 1. So starting with whichever side you would like. Let me just stretch out my hip real quick. But we're snapping those hips. Really though, making sure that as we turn, our back is staying flat and our hips are even with our shoulders and our foot. If those hips are coming forward, we need to be mindful of that because that's going to put extra pressure on the low back. So really keeping that core together, exhaling as we press up. That's going to help. If we pretend to like we're breathing through a straw, that's how we want the core to feel. 3, 2, 1. All right, we're doing the same thing on the other side, getting ready for that. I think my body's extra tired right now. 3, 2, 1. Like I said, probably not the best idea. I did not realize today was going to be a push day for this, which means next week, hopefully it'll fall on a different day. But really, like I said, snapping those hips, headlights on our hips, blinding in the same direction, keeping that core tight. So exhaling through that straw, pushing our core down and together. So it's not necessarily just pushing the belly button in, it's really bringing everything together and down. So that's what I want us to picture here. Push the ground away with that whole foot. 3, 2, 1. All right. Next up, we have our lateral goblet squat. So again, you can keep this weight if you want to grab both of your lighter dumbbells, if you want to have one heavier one, whatever works for you. 3, 2, 1. Face this way for a second. So as I was saying at the end of the last time we did this, hips go back as the knee comes forward. So when our hips don't come back, we're not getting that angle or the position that we want. So really important, we're pushing our hips back, keeping that chest up, core tight. So I see a lot of this when we're doing this. We don't want to push the hips back and hinge there. We want it to be just like a squat, but now it's really only with one leg in one direction. So it should be very similar to our squat form. 3, 2, 1. All right, we got our push presses next, and then we'll do another round of dead bugs. And then we got one more round, and then we'll cool down. 3, 2, 1. Starting with those dumbbells right above those shoulders. Use those legs to help our arms. But we're not fully squatting. It's not a squat to press. It's just a little bend in the knees. Exhaling as we push through the ground and come up can really help with power and explosiveness. Keeping everything nice and tight through the top of our bodies as well. We act like we're squeezing an orange with our shoulder blades. Keep pushing, finish strong. 3, 2, 1. All right. Last movement of round 2, then we got one more round to go. And we're doing our dead bugs. We're laying on the ground. 3, 2, 1. So like I was saying at the end of the last round, if we are feeling the dead bugs in our hips, we can just hold here. And we again want to imagine pulling our 6-pack together and down. Focusing on the breath. We act again like we're blowing through a straw. That will help with that engagement of the core. Still want that belly button into the ground as well. Lots of things to remember. 3, 2, 1. All right, great job. We got last round coming up, starting with rotational squat to press. Getting ready. 3, 2, 1. Last time doing these ones today. So we're again squatting down. I'll face this way for a second. So we're squatting down, knee over the second toe, chest is up, pushing through the ground, rotating. So if you notice, now my whole body is facing the camera. So that's what we want to aim for. So the headlights on the hips, blind the direction that you're moving towards. Still staying stable though in that first part. So this is just a regular squat, and we're pressing up, rotating, pushing up. So we're going to feel that in the shoulders, in the legs, in the hips, and the core. We're just total body movement here. 3, 2, 1. All right, we're going to do that same thing on the other side. And then we're going to be done with those for today. We won't have to do them for another month. So that's always a fun part. 3, 2, 1. It's the pros and cons of this class, right? Is sometimes the movements are really hard and you forget how hard it is because there's about a month in between each one. So if you haven't realized, or haven't talked about it at all yet, this Friday class, we do 4 separate workouts. So each week we do a different workout, but we repeat that same cycle for 4 weeks each. So that's 4 workouts by 4 weeks. So it should be 16 weeks, I think. I don't know. I haven't fully thought out the math and I'm not good at thinking at too many things at once. But 3, 2, 1. But the reasoning behind that is to get really good and to make progress in muscles and in movements, we need to do the same workouts over and over again. So this is why this is planned this way. We got our lateral squats, 3, 2, 1. So how I help us all do that and make progress is I either encourage you to pick up a heavier weight each time we do this workout, or even if you don't do that, I do increase the time every week. So we started off with 20 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest. Then we moved to 40 seconds of work and 20 seconds of rest for all of them. And now we're on, so this is day 1. So we are on 45 seconds of work, 15 seconds of rest, and we'll do that for the next few workouts. So the next few weeks will be that time frame. So by doing it longer, we're pushing ourselves harder. 3, 2, 1. All right, we got push presses next. But each week, if we either increase the weight or the reps / time frame, that's how we're gonna make that progress. So that's how we grow muscle. 3, 2, 1. That's how we grow muscle. That's how we grow strength or gain strength, sorry. And then that's also a good way to keep tabs on the progress, because sometimes it can be really hard to be like, wait, am I getting stronger? Am I making progress? And it's a great way to kind of see over time, either you increase your weight or you're doing more reps or you're doing more time. It's a good way to keep consistent with that progress. Great job. Keep pushing, use those legs. We're almost there. Finish strong. I know my shoulders are on fire. 3, 2, 1. All right, great job. We're done with that. And then we're laying on the ground. We got dead bugs. And then after this, we're gonna do our cool down, our mindset reset. We're gonna stay on the ground on our backs for that. 3, 2, 1. All right. So the goal here is I don't want any of us to feel it in the hips. It also helps if you move slower and just really focus on pulling in with the core. I know for me, the slower I go, the less I feel it in my hips. I really got to focus on pulling with the core, which is the goal of this movement. 3, 2, 1. And that is going to be it for today's circuit. So set those weights down, grab a sip of water if you need it. And we're going to be on the ground for our cool down and mindset reset. So we're going to go ahead and make our way on our side here. And we're going to do the Bristle Stretch. So we're going to be on the side, whichever side you'd like. We're going to take top leg, come up, over and across. So that knee and ankle are both on the ground. Bottom hand is going to be on top of that knee. With our top hand, we're going to reach down to our bottom foot or ankle. We're going to inhale to prepare. And we're going to exhale, bringing that top shoulder towards the ground. Put my glasses off. All right. And once we're in this position, we're going to start to take big, deep breaths, and we're relaxing into this position. So I want us to use our mind to help our body relax. We're going to picture all of our muscles that are tight. Anywhere we really feel this stretch, so whether that's your back, your hips, your quads, your shoulders, wherever you feel it the most, just picture that muscle and just picture it relaxing, whatever that looks like for you. So we're just gonna kind of do a quick scan of the body. We also want to fully exhale, sighing away the tension. Picture all the stress leaving your body with each exhale. Big deep breaths through the nose and out through the mouth. We're going to do one more big deep breath here. And after we have finished the exhale, we can gently release the bottom leg. Now we're going to go ahead and come out of that and roll over onto the other side. We're going to do the same checklist here. So that top leg is going to come up, over, and across. Bottom hand on top of the knee. Top hand grabs onto the bottom foot or ankle. We're going to inhale to prepare. And exhaling, opening up towards the ceiling. So the more we do this, the closer that top shoulder is going to get to the ground. Doing it purposely on this side so you see that I'm also not there yet if you are not either. And this is a good time to kind of notice maybe different parts of our body feel tight than what felt tight on the other side. Maybe it's the same muscles that are tight on both sides. So we're relaxing into the stretch, releasing all the tension with each exhale. We're going to go ahead and do one more deep breath. And after that exhale, we can gently release out of that. And then we're going to go ahead and lay on our back for a minute here. And straighten those legs. And we're just going to relax here. So we're going to do a body scan. So I like to start at the top of the head, kind of making our way down the body, checking in on each aspect of our body. So how does our head feel, our eyes, our mouth, our ears, down into the tongue, the throat, our chest, our arms, stomach, all of our organs, our hips, our knees, our ankles. Just kind of do a quick scan. And this is where we can kind of also assess our energy levels for the day. So it's Friday, it's maybe been a long week. Like, how's our energy for today? Making note of our energy and kind of noting too, like how we can improve it if our energy is low. How can we keep ourselves energized if our energy is high? Just coming up with a few strategies to bring our best self into the day. I want us to then just say 1 thing that you love about yourself. Just one. We only need one right now. So just think about that one thing. And then we're going to think of one thing that we're grateful for today. Let that lift up our energy. And then pick one person that you're grateful for. We're just gonna send them all the love and energy and light that we have today to try and make their day a little bit better too. So we've done a few things to boost our energy. Now we're gonna help someone else boost their energy, which also is gonna boost ours. So spreading those positive vibes, positive energy all day that we can. And that's also what helps us elevate our energy. We're gonna go ahead and do one more breath here in this position. And as we exhale, we can start to warm the body up. So we can move the head side to side, wiggle those fingers and toes. And when we're ready, we can make our way onto our side. And then you can return to a seated, kneeling, or standing position. That is going to be all the time for mindset reset and sports performance. So definitely did a lot of pushing. You can definitely do some more stretching on those hips. I know mine are a little tight right now. So great job. We got one more class today at 12 with me, and then we'll repeat all of our regular classes next week. And then on Monday, June 20th, we will not have any classes due to Juneteenth. So we will be closed in person and virtually on that day. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see y'all soon.